You've got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mike, and this is a place where I show you the easiest way that I know how to play your favorite old country songs. Kenny Rogers had this hit, The Gambler. It was written by Don Schlitz and released in 1978 and was a huge hit. And it's a really fun song to play, and it's a great campfire song, or it's a song anywhere because a lot of people know the words and they really get into it. It's a good party song. Now for this lesson, a beginner lesson, campfire version I like to call it, I play it in the key of D, and I'm going to stay in the key of D, but in the original, Kenny Rogers modulates, and what that means is about near halfway through the song, the fourth verse starts and the song changes key. Down the road, if you'd like to learn an intermediate or advanced version of the song, you know, maybe get into some picking or whatever else, you can learn to modulate at that point. If you're ever online, there's ultimate tabs chord, like when you type in the chords for a certain song, ultimate tabs. There's a selection at the bottom where you can, it's called transpose, and you can actually change the key, like the chords that are written above the lyrics. It'll change that for you. So if you wanted to change it 1, 2, 3 steps, whatever you need, you can do that and then print it out. It's a really handy website to get chords and lyrics from. Ultimate Guitar tab, I think, is the result that I usually get and click on because of that transpose feature. So for today, we'll just stay in the key of D, and with that comes a D chord, a G, an A7th, or an A, depending on, its proper would be an A7th, which is, if you don't know how to play an A7th, it's really simple. It's an A without your middle finger. But if you don't know how to play an A7th, just play an A. That works too. Back to D. There's not many chords in it. I find lyrics, the amount of lyrics is the biggest hurdle for this song. But it's one of those songs that sticks, and if you don't remember the words, chances are someone else around in the room or around the fire will remember the words. Now the strum pattern I use in this song is the 4th string down, up, 5th string down, up, 4th string down, up, 5th string down, up. So let's begin in a D chord, nice and slow. Verse 1. On a warm summer's evening, G, on a train, back to D, bound from nowhere, met up with a gambler, we were both too A7th to sleep, back to D, so we took turns staring. Ready for G? The window, back to D, the darkness, G, boredom, back to D, A7th, back to D. So I do understand that moving from D to G, if you're a beginner, and if you're not used to fast switching, it can be tricky to keep up. So I'll do my best to keep it nice and slow until we get it figured out. Okay, verse 2 is very much the same with different lyrics. So beginning in a D, nice and slow. He said, son, I've made a life. G, out of reading, back to D, faces, knowing what their cards were by the way they A7th their eyes, and quickly back to a D. So if you D, mind saying G, I can G, you're out back to D. And another quick back to G, and quick back to D. And then another dip to A7th. I give you some back to D. And that's the second verse. So let's continue the third verse. And again, everything's the same except the words. So I D, handed in my bottle, ready for G. And he drank down, back to D, my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for A7th. Quick back to D, and the night got deathly quiet. G, and his face lost all back to D. And G again, and back to D. A7th, you gotta learn, play back to D. You got to, and then you're ready to go into the chorus. Okay, the chorus for The Gambler in a D. You got to know when to hold 'em. G, know when back to D. G, know when back to D. Walk away. Know when A7, you never D your money. G, when you're G at back to D, there'll be time enough for counting A7th when the deal ends D. So the fourth verse for this lesson, I'm going to stay in a D. In Kenny Rogers' version, this is the point in the song where he modulates. So in a D chord, every gambler knows G, the secret to back to D, surviving. Back to G again, knowing what to back to G, throw away. Knowing what to A7th key, back to D, cause every hand's a winner. Get ready for G. Every hand's back to D, a loser. And G again, the best that you can D, hopeful. A7th is to die in back to D. And fifth verse, same thing, different lyrics. And when he finished speaking, G, he turned back for back to D. Crushed out his cigarette and he faded off to A7th and then back to D, and somewhere in the darkness, G, gambler, He broke back to D even, and G again, and in his final D words I found a seventh, an ace, that I back to D. You've got to chorus D, know when to hold 'em. G, know when to D, fold 'em. G, know when to D, walk away. And know when A, seventh, run. You never D, count your money. G, when you're G, at the back to D. And G again, be time enough for D. And A seventh, when the deal ends, back to D. And then the chorus repeats again 2 times, but this one here that he goes into is where the music, a lot of the music stops, and it's just bongos or something. You got to know when to hold 'em, when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. That part, and then the band, the full band begins again, and he does the chorus again. So he actually does the chorus 3 times at the end of the song. So the entire layout is 3 verses, chorus, 2 verses, 3 choruses at the end. So 3, 4, yeah. Anyhow, you got through it. You can, if you get a bunch of people sitting around that know that song, you could be playing 10 choruses at the end of that, because some people will not let that song finish. It's a lot of fun. So I hope you had fun learning. There are some, I forgot that the song, the chords do change quite quickly. There's a lot of changes even in a verse, from the D to the G. So if you're not used to that, you want to get to the point where you can speed that song up. A lot of the time, even when you're watching TV, I remember that I used to just watching TV, I just strum really lightly, or not even strum, and just sit there and watch a TV show. If you're binge watching Netflix, you can still just hold the guitar and just keep doing the change here. And your fingers learn the positions as much as your brain. And, they start getting callous. My fingers still get grooves in them and get worn out, and they're very calloused. They always will be. So that never stops. But that's what I recommend, just when you're watching TV, or if you're sitting talking to somebody, just even hold the guitar and just practice going from a D to an A and a D to an A. And the next time you play the Gambler, you'll realize, wow, I'm able to switch quite quickly now between those chords. In an A7th again, an A7th's really nice in a lot of songs that are in the key of D, because when you go from an A and then you pull that finger out, you give the middle finger, it leads into the D nicely, especially at the end. Da, da. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed your lesson today, and I hope you have a lot of fun singing the Gambler. Let's play it together at regular speed, and hopefully you can sing along and play along. I'll see you again. Thanks for watching. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns staring at the window at the darkness. The boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, son, I've made a life reading people's faces, knowing what their cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I give you some advice. So I handed him my bottle. He drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette, asked me for a light, and the night got deathly quiet. And his face lost all expression. Said, if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. Be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep. 'Cause every hand's a winner, every hand's a loser. The best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he finished speaking, he turned back for the window, crushed out his cigarette, faded off to sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even, and in his final words, found an ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. You're sitting at the table. Be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold them, when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. Be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. You got to know when to hold them, when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. Be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.